Hello everyone, Shabbat Shalom. It's Friday again, and this time it's Parashat Vayera. In our parasha, we have some of the greatest stories about Abraham and Isaac, Abraham and Yitzchak, the relationship. We have the Akedah at the end of our parasha. We have the birth of Yitzchak in the middle of our parasha. We have many different things going on. But in the middle of it all, there is you could say, slightly controversial topic. And that is the topic of Yishmael. What do we do with Yishmael? And more specifically, the story of him and his mother, at a certain stage, being banished from Jewish history. Yishmael is the first son of Abraham, but very clearly the second-tier son. He is the son of the maidservant of Hagar, and he himself goes about abusing his own power. His mother does not respect Sarah. He does not respect the relationship. He is found causing trouble and being mischievous and disrespectful. And as such, there is an understanding that Ishmael, as much as he may be an important person in history going forward, but he can no longer be the heir to the Abrahamic project. And so he and his mother are sent, to a certain degree, back down to Egypt, where she came from. And unfortunately, they get lost in the desert, and their water runs out. And their water bottle is empty. And Hagar, in a moment of despair, leaves, or it really actually says dumps, her son, her boy, who is presumably a bit dehydrated, under one of the bushes, and she turns back. She tries and gets as far away as possible. Because she realizes that her son is going to die, and she doesn't want to see it, or even potentially hear it. And she sits from afar. And she weeps and she wails. And God hears the cries of Ishmael, of the Na'ar. Vayikra malach Elohim el Hagar min hashamayim. And a voice of heaven, an angel, calls out to Hagar and says, Vayomer la malach Hagar, what is going on? Al terai, don't worry. Ki shama Elohim et kol hana'ar ba'asher hu sham. Do not fret. God has heard his cries wherever he is. Kumi se'i et hanar v'achziki et yadech bo. Arise, take the boy, hold his hand. Ki legoy gadol asimeno, because he indeed will become a great nation, and he will survive. Vayifkach Elohim et enea v'tere be'er mayim. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well. And she went and she filled up her water bottle, and she gave him water. And the boy indeed grew. And he became an archer. And he married into an Egyptian family. The beautiful word in the middle, Vayifkach Elohim et enea, and God opened her eyes, reminds me of a different pasuk. The only other time that the term to open someone's eyes appears in the Torah, we later find it on in the Nevi'im. The only other time it appears in the Torah is when Adam and Eve are in the garden and they are told not to eat from the fruit. And the snake tries to seduce them. And he says, no, do not worry. The reason why God doesn't want you to eat the fruit is because God knows that the day you eat from it, and your eyes shall be opened, and then you will know the truth. And indeed, when they eat from it, and the woman indeed gets very, very kind of seduced and excited about the tree. And she eats from the fruit. And she gives to her husband. And indeed their eyes opened. And suddenly, and suddenly they have this deep conscious moment of realizing, oh my goodness, we are naked. The eyes represent knowledge, the opening of the eyes. In many ways, this is a physiological. When you tell when you tell somebody something that they didn't know, suddenly they go, really? And their eyes open up. Their eyes have seen. It's as if I was blind and now I can see. This idea of "Vatifkachna einei shneim," and in our case, "Vayifkach Elohim et einei," gives us a very interesting twist and a very interesting perspective on the idea of knowledge, opening the eyes, and to a certain degree, the question of blindness. And I want to maybe give this a bit of a twist. Let me know what you think. In the world that we live in today, one of the biggest battles that's going on at the moment in the media, in the age of social media, of mass media, of political saturation, is always a question of what do we know? What do others know? And what are we not being told? In many ways, this is the age of conspiracy theories. This is the age of assumption that maybe someone's pulling the wool over our eyes, to use an English phrase, which kind of says the same thing. We are being purposefully blinded. We are being purposefully lied to. Maybe this is actually all, maybe there's gaslighting. The light is being hidden from us and we're being told that we're crazy, that really, wait, you think that you're seeing X, but actually you're not seeing anything at all. And I don't understand why you could even think such a thing. All sorts of different questions when it comes to authority, to questions of politics, questions of trust. All of these questions are deeply ingrained into the question of, do I see the truth? Am I seeing reality? Or am I seeing a lie, a fiction? This can go all the way back to Plato and the parable of the cave. Am I seeing actual images, or am I seeing shadows of images? Am I being able to see the truth? Is my sight clear? Is my mental understanding and appreciation of the world focused and true and clear and light and enlightened? Or am I being led astray? Am I being fooled? And this is the question, I think, that stands at the very basis of these terminology, of opening one's eyes. The snake comes to Adam and Chava and says, you're being lied to. I will open your eyes. Trust me, because I have the truth and everyone else is lying to you. It's all a big conspiracy. Really, God doesn't want you to find out, because if you found out, then you would be God. You have the potential of power, and someone is trying to oppress you and to make sure to save their own skin, to make sure that you do not find out the truth. But indeed, there's an element of once you do find out the truth, you lose all elements of innocence, and suddenly you are aware of your nakedness. And then suddenly they realize, oh my goodness, the more you know, as they say, as the pasuk says, Mosif yeda, Mosif machov. The more we know, the more pain we have. Suddenly it gets very confusing. Wait, am I even who I think I am? Is my body me? Am I naked? Should I be ashamed? Is this information something? How does this apply to me? What am I supposed to do with this information? Am I suddenly supposed to hide? Is this something I'm supposed to feel guilty about? Is this something I have control over or not? And it breeds this element of confusion, shame, guilt, and all of the questions of, wait, maybe I know too much. Maybe the lack of knowledge, the classic, don't tell me about it, I don't want to know. Maybe there's an element of, no, the more you see, the more light you have, the more blinded you get. Blinded by all of the light. And here beautifully, I think we have the conclusion. Vayifkach Elohim et einei. Sometimes there are moments where we hope we need someone else. We need God himself to open our eyes. Instead of Adam and Chava trying to do it on their own, by trying to claw their way into worlds of knowledge which are being controlled by the snake, they're trying to get to Etz Hadat, to the fruit of knowledge, but they are doing it in a negative way. Here I think we see a positive way. Hagar purposefully did not want to see. Ve'al ere bemot hayeled. She purposefully realized that she needs to shield herself. There's certain things that I do not need to see, especially in the days of the internet today. We do recognize there are certain videos, there are certain types of content that will actually do me more harm than good. Even though it's her own child, she recognizes that she needs to distance herself from this emotional image. And then the answer is, okay, you have now reached a level where you can appreciate the idea of your eyes being open to something good. The more you shield yourself, ironically, the more you shield yourself from the light, if you're in a very bright world, if you shield your eyes, you'll be able to see more. And then God will say, Vayftach Elohim et eineh, and God will open your eyes and say, okay, wow, maybe in all of your emotional distress, you were not able to appreciate that there was actually a well around the corner. But the more self-reflective, the more you converse with the Malach Elohim, you do a self-reflection, you daven, you try and work inwards, you look inwards, then suddenly you'll be able to find the Ma'ayan, you'll be able to find the water cisterns, the water, well, imagine like a mirage in the desert. Suddenly you'll be able to penetrate through all the confusion and to find the Ma'ayan, to find Be'er L'chai Ro'i, which we'll see Yitzchak hangs out in the same place, this idea of a well of water, which is Torah, which is truth, which is refreshing, which is clear, which is light. That, I think, is a potential message that one could read from this parasha. So Bezrat Hashem, I wish us all a week of trying to see the world and see the confusion, but recognize that maybe we need to actually put some filters on our eyes and to try and recognize that, hey, maybe just because someone's saying something doesn't mean it's true. Just because someone's shouting something at someone doesn't mean that they have a point. And maybe we can hopefully, by shielding ourselves and being slightly more precise and not trying to be wide-eyed and see everything and bring everything into our vision, the more we're focused, the more we are, I would say, self-reflecting, Be'ezrat Hashem will actually be able to find the truth and find the well, the source, the light. Shabbat Shalom.